Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. Today I'm going to piss you off with the video that I do. You're probably going to yell at your screen, and all I ask is that you listen to the entire thing or just click off of it. I have a very hardline rule when it comes to what I take in because I get a lot of emails, a lot of messages. I do my best to stay on top of all of them. It is impossible for me to read all the emails I get in a day. It's over 300 of them. And one of the rules that I've made is I'm not processing machine generated content. So my personal trainer has said for a long time that one of my faults is that I process bullshit, and he's right. Like there'll be a message that I get from an ex-girlfriend from 6 years ago, and like I'll think, oh, maybe she has a point here, maybe she cares, or maybe like there's I should take this criticism to heart. And he'll be just like, she's bored, she's angry, she's just fucking, like he'll want to grab my phone and throw it at a wall or just hit delete or something. And the thing is, at the end of the day, he's right. I do this a lot where like there'll be a fucking like some 11-year-old Reddit troll or some shit, and I'll like think that they actually are somebody who might have their minds changed, or maybe an engineer at a company someday, and maybe if I they're just looking to like press a button or something, right? And one of the things that I've done, I've gotten a lot better at processing human bullshit, but at the very least, what I can do is, to make this easy on myself, is not process machine-generated bullshit. I'll give you an example. This is an email that I received at one point. I'm not going to read the entire email. I selectively edited it because I don't want you to know who sent it. Just because they sent me an AI-generated email does not mean that I am going to dox them and get them a bunch of emails back. They're not horrible people. They're just not people I want to deal with. I just watched your recent video on X and the community bounty. Thank you for continuing to bring urgency and clarity to conversations around M- and italics, planned obsolescence, right to repair, and consumer choice. Your voice continues to be one of the most important in this space. We'd love to invite you to join us in Paris, not just as a guest, but as a thought leader. We're curating a space that goes beyond platitudes and panels, and instead creates real conversations about what needs to change. Your work on repair legislation, manufacturer accountability, and community empowerment would be a powerful contribution to this summit. Thanks again for all that you do, and for not letting these issues fade quietly into the background. M-. My response. I appreciate the offer, but I don't know how to communicate with a machine. This video sums up my feelings on the matter, and I linked to this video. If you don't have the time for that video, this is also a good video on the subject that is much shorter from Evan Edinger. TLDR, I don't feel like communicating with a machine. Not very interesting to me. The rest of that email, if I were to read it, would have made the point much more obvious that this was obviously written by a machine and not edited. Control-C, Control-V, no effort whatsoever. And for me, I don't think that that's a bad person. I'm not looking at it as a character failing. It's just, for me, it's just my personal preference. I do not wish to normalize the concept of exchanging with a machine. And more importantly, since people are emailing me stories all the time where I have to do research into the story to figure out if it's real or not real, I do not want to engage with things that were invented by a computer. That increases the likelihood that I come here on this channel and I cover something that's not real and then wind up actually spreading misinformation or bullshit. And the way that I deal with this is I've just created a hard line of, okay, that's AI generated, so I should look into it a little bit more serious. No, I just don't engage. I just like Control W, Alt F4, like close the tab. I don't want it. And the reason for that is the sheer number of emails that I get that are human generated are over 300 a day. I will never have time to answer all of them. I do my best to read all of them. I do my best to respond to all of them. Sometimes it's a canned response. Sometimes you may not hear what you want to hear. Sometimes it may be a little short because I like have 20 seconds to respond to each one of these emails if I'm actually going to read them. But I am not going to engage with a machine. I don't want to do it. And more importantly, I know I'm not going to change the world. I know I'm not going to get everybody to take on my policy. But at the very least, I want to be a part of the change I want to see in the world. And if I engage with content that was generated by AI, then I'm not creating a counter incentive structure for somebody to stop using that shit. And to be clear, when I say stop using it, I don't mean like not use it at all. I mean just the direct Control-C, Control-V and not injecting your own voice into it and leaving the ChatGPT generated voice in it. So what do I mean by that? And this is going to be one that's not popular because it's a good story. And also I'm being very, very hardline and strict here. And I'm being strict on an edge issue because most of this article is not AI generated. This is not AI generated. This is from Tom's Hardware about a manufacturer issuing a remote kill switch to disable a smart vacuum after an engineer blocks it from collecting data, which is a story you'd expect me to be excited about on the channel. Now, this article doesn't seem like it's written by AI. When I click onto the source article, which is what I'm interested in, AI generated picture, again, not really looking to get mad at that. But when I scroll down and I start reading it, let's go over to the part that interested me. Inside the init directory, one script had been modified to prevent the main application from launching. This wasn't a glitch. It was an intentional command. Okay, not the worst thing in the world. Not the worst thing. At the service center, they flashed a device and connected it to an open network. It reconnected to the mothership and was remotely revived. However, when I returned to my firewall, it got bricked again. This wasn't a coincidence. It was control. Starting to hear the influence there a little bit. Continuing. I may have lost my warranty, but I won back my autonomy. Now my vacuum runs entirely offline. No cloud, no tracking, no stranger access, just a local robot that does what I tell it to. And sometimes it's not actually the style of writing, it's the beat. It's the tempo. It's the, like, where, like, the rhythm lands. It's not even the words it's using, just the rhythm. I know who wrote that line. It's not the person who wrote the article. Now this, I held nothing against this person. I'm not mad at them. I'm not angry. I'm not, how dare you? It's not a moral failing in any way. I'm not aggravated at them the way that I would be aggravated at a company that screwed somebody over. And admittedly, it's not the entire article. It's pieces of it. Which is what makes hardline rules very difficult to deal with. Because when I've made the hardline rule, well, I either stick to it or I don't. I'll just make an exception for this. Yeah, but this, again, over 300 emails a day, and that's just emails, not Discord DMs, people finding my number on Signal, Instagram, and every other platform. And over almost 30% of that is AI generated at this point. No, not doing it. I know you're screaming at your screen right now, Lewis. The guys at GitLab or GitHub, read it, read the older blogs. Lewis, look through the whole thing. Lewis, again, I like to go over things in this channel where I know that it's real. I'm not covering something that's complete bullshit or fabricated or made up. And it takes a lot of work and time to dig through all those things, to curate the Consumer Rights Wiki and everything. And I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of this, because even if I get one of them right, like, for every one that's real, there's going to be 20 or 50 that are complete total bullshit, where somebody just wrote a ridiculous prompt and just copied and pasted it. If somebody sent some, like, fucking 10-page wall of text for the bounty email, you could tell that the entire thing was generated by ChatGPT, except for one sentence that the guy wrote himself because it was horrible grammar. Keith read the whole thing, and he actually read and engaged with the entire fucking thing. And I'm just looking at this thinking, yeah, man, like, so what do you think of this? And it's like, oh yeah, I hit delete the moment that I saw exactly what I saw who wrote it. Like, he spent 30 minutes of his life processing this, and then it finally hit him. Like, I'm talking to this doesn't count, but more importantly, that doesn't count. Like, I spent 30 minutes of my life going over what a computer wrote me. I don't want to do that. There's a difference between some of the fun that I have here. Like, this was a lot of this video was me pretending to be a lawyer, and I use ChatGPT for that. There's a lot of things I use ChatGPT for. I use it for classifying the emails. I love Olama. Love me some Olama, some Mistral. Tag my emails, put them in separate folders so I know exactly where to find them. I will talk to ChatGPT or Claude or Mistral a lot, and I'll ask it questions. I'll ask it to help me with some config files and things like that. But that's different because I'm asking the computer a question, and I'm expecting the computer, the robot, to give me the answer. That's different from me reading news or something where I'm expecting that a human being wrote this. I think it's you, but it's actually the computer. Does that make sense? It hits me the same way that, like, I'm on a date with somebody. Could be the best person in the world, kind, caring, beautiful, and, like, they're just doing this for like 20% of the time. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. It's just pleasure meeting you. This is not how I want to spend my evening. And I leave. I don't want to normalize it. And, I've gotten responses to these emails that I've written before where it's like, listen, I know machine generated that. And they're honest. Like, yeah, you're right. I completely control-C it. But I was just using it to organize my thoughts, man. Like, why are you so down on that? Or somebody said, I have very mild dyslexia and this helps me with it. And I know people with full dyslexia. They talk to me without using this. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't go down that. No. I felt guilty for a moment when somebody who wrote me this very obvious, like, more than these two, just direct Control-C, Control-V. Like, I have mild dyslexia. It's like, don't do that. Like, I'm not, no. Because, like, if I accept it for you, then I have to accept it for the other person that said, well, I got really bad sleep last night and I wouldn't have written this email at all if I didn't have the help of this. So you should just be happy I wrote it at all. Just no. So my policy has been, I don't engage with any of it. 0% of it. None. The moment that I can tell the moment I hear that voice, that cadence, that type of beat, that styling, it's not just about an M dash, but it's so much more than just a fucking M dash. Because I see people say this all the time. It's like, oh, they just don't like that the punctuation and the spelling and the grammar are correct. No, that's not what it is, and you know that. It's a writing style, a very specific way of speaking. that I've never heard in my entire life in any of the people I've spoken to. Person that runs Gotham Bank in New York before they closed and became, I think, Santander or something to people in the ghetto. Like, nobody talks like that. It's obvious. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it. I don't want to normalize it. If you want to have a conversation with me, I'll have a conversation with you. But I'm going to have a conversation with you, not the machine. We can have our fun. It's fun to pretend you're a lawyer. It's fun to use the tools to pretend you're a lawyer. Even afterwards, I told it. The only reason that I didn't say in the video I wrote this with ChatGPT is because I was waiting for the law firm to fire their clients. And when I wrote this was not a direct copy and paste either. This was me, like, there's a difference between, I go up to the smart kid in the class, like in fourth grade, this kid, Don S., I forget his last name, it's like 24 characters. I mean, the smartest kid in the class, Don, there's a difference between going up to the smart kid in the class and saying, hey, can I get your opinion on a couple of things, and then writing my essay versus, here's $100, write my paper, right? Like, there's a difference there. Like, I use AI, but there's a difference between using AI and doing this. And when I make a mistake and I actually do wind up like just copying and pasting bullshit, I hope you all call me out on it. I've done that for this one wiki article I did where I use, I don't like that I don't have a wiki editor on my computer. I don't like that my wiki doesn't use Markdown. I know Markdown, I don't know wiki text very well. So I write in a Markdown editor, and then I don't use Pandoc to convert from Markdown to wiki text because I want Claude to put in the cargo incident template and all that shit. So I didn't notice that when Sonnet came out in Claude, they switched to like 4.5 or 4.6. It switched me from Opus 4.1 to Sonnet 4.6 or 4.5, whatever the latest one is. It just hallucinates everything. So usually I'll say, do not fucking change a thing that I wrote. Just make it wiki text. Opus listened. Sonnet said, let me just make up 5 stories that don't fucking exist. And the one time that I don't check it, it's there. Somebody called me out and said, hey, what the fuck is this? I'm not offended. I made a mistake. I'm trying to use a new tool, and yeah, thank you for calling me out on that. Thank you, so I can do better. I'm not above this rule either. I hope people enforce it on me as much as I enforce it on them. It's not because I want to shit on people. It's not because I want to, crap on them and say I'm a better person. There's so much garbage on the internet nowadays. I can go on a YouTube or Twitter and I can literally see AI bots arguing with one another. I just don't want to engage with it. I'm not going to normalize it. I don't care if that means that I miss a good story. I may miss a good story from time to time, but for every good story I miss, guarantee there's 100 pieces of bullshit that I'm not reading that would have just rotted my brain for the fact that I even looked at them. For every story that is correct, there's probably a bunch that are garbage. For every email that I get that it may have led to something useful, there's probably 20 or 50 of them that may have been written by another AI just generating prompts to randomly generate emails to people to prank them or fuck with them in general. And yeah, I don't want to read them. I'm not going to normalize it. I want to set this line in the sand that if you want to have a conversation with me, I'm going to have a conversation with you. The one time I break this rule is when I'm talking to people that I don't like. Yes, if you want to sue me for $100,000, I will talk to you through a fucking computer. But that's very different from people that I actually want to talk to. I hear people screaming to the screen, man, look at his GitHub, look at the code, go through it. I don't want to. Yeah, it's a hardline rule. You may think it's stupid, but it's how I protect my brain. I get too much shit every day to engage with stuff that was created by a machine. If I do it once, I have to do it again and again and again. And where does it stop? Best way to deal with it is just not accept it at the very beginning. Hopefully, again, I know all of you wanted me to cover this vacuum story and go over the vacuum story, and yeah, that's why I didn't. I looked at the page, I scrolled through it, I did a quick skim because that's what I do when I get 300 emails a day with all these stories. Looked at it and it's like, you know what? I hear the voice of the machine a little bit too much here. Next. That's why I didn't go over it. Other people have gone over it. Steve Leto went over it. And Steve Leto does a much better job of covering most of these things than I do. He's very entertaining. I highly suggest you check out his channel. I have nothing against the person who wrote this article, and I have nothing against Steve Leto. I'm not here to shit on your parade. I'm just here to explain why certain things that you send me might not get a response, or might not take my interest, might not pique my interest. This is how I run my channel, and this is how I run my communications. I don't know if it's the best way, but it's the way that I'm comfortable with. That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.